people I work with, my friends and stuff, I always be talking about capitalism, slavery, and a lot of stuff. And when I read, it's always involving this stuff. So I thought I was a bitter person. I'm like, why can't I just be happy and leave this stuff alone? So I thought I was bitter. But then 3 days ago, I was talking about this, and I said to myself, I don't think actually that I'm bitter. I'm not a bitter person. Why? Because from my own experience that I'm going through, I realize that bitter people, they're not just bitter or miserable. They're, they harm other people because they're bitter. Okay, so I'm not bitter, but there are people out there who are bitter. Okay, so that is my topic today. And before I get into my topic, like as always, I have to remind people the only reason I'm here in social media talking and sharing some ideas or some experiences that I've been through, it's all because South Sudanese oppositions led by, that is Idris Chek, there is Yen Matthew, there is the group of unknown gunmen led by those of Andrew Dow, Mira Kuch, Achelma Dudring, and so many other people. So because of them, I actually have to come in social media and share my experience, things that I've been through, and things that I'm still going through. And this is just like a fight. Actually, it is a fight against them because they're trying to silence me. Okay, so that's one. But today my subject is actually like because I was in Clubhouse and I heard people talking about this subject, and that subject, it was like right after I brought it up myself here. That's why I'm like, those people actually do listen to me. Like in my own house right now, anything that I say here, like I don't know how many people listen to all the ranting that I do in my own house. That they would pick up on them and then make it as a subject and things like that. So I came to talk about bitter people. Okay, so based on my experience, the reason I'm in the situation that I'm in is because of bitter people. Bitter people are people that cannot be happy. Okay, they're dealing with undisclosed mental issues. They don't admit to themselves or to the other people or family that they have mental issues. Okay, so the only way for them to deal with those bitterness is to conflict harm on other people. In fact, bitter people are the elites of this world. Like the elites of this world are very much the bitter people. The bitter people are the reason why there is a third world countries. They're the reason why there is ongoing fight and wars between countries and countries, region to region, tribe against tribe, and all that. Bitter people can never be happy. They cannot find happiness because they do not have happiness within themselves. For any person in this world to be happy, you have to find the happiness within you. You have to find happiness within you, or the simple little things that you have in your own place, in your own house, or wherever you live. You find happiness with whatever you have. Those people cannot find happiness not within themselves or with the stuff that they, that they own in their life. Even if they have millions of dollars, they're still not going to be happy, because in order for them to be happy, someone else have to be suffering somewhere. And that's what brought me here. The reason I'm here, because those bitter people such as Yen Matthew, Idris Chek, and Andrew Dow, and all those people, those are the example of bitter people. Okay? Why? Because they don't think rationally. Okay, they do not have a rational thinking. They're like, they have what they call the demagogue. You know, they're a demagogue thinker. Okay, they're like dogmatic. You know, so let me go to my points. So those people are demagogue. Demagogue, like they're politician, right? Politician, those politicians such as Yen Matthew, Irodechig, and many of them out there, okay, they're demagoguery. They use manipulation, you know, they use manipulation just to get people on their side. They lie to people. They make, they talk in things that people will believe them. Like they say stuff that people want to hear, not the stuff that they really stand for, not that they came with those issues to help the public, but no, they bring all those issues that could be related to what people want to hear, but not exactly that they want to resolve those issues. So number one thing, you know, they make up issues. They make up issues from the real issues that people are going through, because if they're going to talk about those issues in public, people relate. You know, people relate, and then they believe them. They use people issues. They create issues to come and manipulate people with it. You know, so demagogue basically are those politicians that come and stand in front of people in public and say everything that people want to hear, but not because they want to represent people. And the second you put them in power, everything that they say will just collapse. Everything that they said, and they promise you that we're gonna do this, and you know, I'm here only to talk for the voiceless, and government is doing corruption, and I'm here to replace the government. We need a regime, you know, to change the regime and all that kind of stuff. Hi dear sister, I hope all of you guys are doing well. So those are demagogue politicians. Okay, they come talk to people, but they're not gonna follow up later if they're in power. Second, they're dogmatic. Dogmatic, why do I say that they're dogmatic? Because if anyone is following the social media since 2021, 2022, when those people start going to a clubhouse, you know, they brought issues describing the South Sudan problems, like what is the South Sudan problem. They were trying to diagnose the issues that are facing South Sudan. When they diagnosed those issues and came up with, you know, a set of, you know, problems, they said land issues, they said there was a violation of human rights, there was, like, you know, conflicts between such and such tribes, there is corruption, there is, you know, a lot of stuff that Salva Kiir is not following, and so much stuff. A lot of people agree with them. A lot of us agreed with them. The problem was they have some method they wanted to use and stuff to manipulate people and mobilize people. That did not work. And when that did not work, they straight up pick up on a tribal, you know, hating, on a hate speech. They started a hate speech against Dinka. And the very much people that started, it was Irodechig and Teresa Yu, that guy in France, what is his name? You know, I forgot his name. Yeah, he's in France. And then some people in Egypt. Yeah, I'm not gonna mention all of their names. So all of them came and then blamed Dinka, like Dinka were the issues of South Sudan, And instead, they were saying at first like it was Salva Kiir and all that. They flipped, and then concluded that Dinka was the problem. And the problem also, why I call them dogmatic, they brought the issues, right? They diagnosed the problem and all that. And instead of they should let other people, contribute and rationalizing the problem. No. They will drop an attack on anybody that think rationally. They will attack on that person. They only allow people to contribute with their opinion if those people were tribal. So they only allow the contribution of people who are tribal and not the people that want to, give a rational opinion. That's what I call dogmatic. So they will bring issues and then a plan and then a solution for it, even though that solution is not rational at all. That solution would always end, with the bad circumstances for a certain group that they create the hate speech against. So they do not think rationally. They only think dogmatically. They come with something, with a picture, with a problem. They don't want to hear any solution from rational people, and then they want to apply their solution that does not work for all. If you stand against them, then now you're the enemy. And that's why I call them dogmatic. And that's why today they are against me and are after me, because they don't like anybody that think rational. So I want to talk about few points that I want to relate to this issue, which is that this thing been happening throughout the history. The dogmatism been happening through the history, the prejudice, or the demagogus or demagoguery thinking or behavior or practices throughout the history been happening, and I actually could have bring a lot of examples, but I just didn't want to, because I'm actually going with the light outside, and I don't want to use the light inside, so I don't want to make my video so long. So I was gonna bring an example of that something like that happened before. Like it been happening a lot of time in history, and anybody that read history, it's always there. There is demagoguery people that always want to put a prejudice on other people and convict them with crimes that don't deserve that serious punishment. For example, there is Galileo. Galileo was put in house arrest because Galileo, he came with a theory that attacked or undermined a belief of Catholic Church. That theory, before I talk about it, let me read a very small paragraph. So it said Galileo was placed under a house arrest for heresy because he publicly supported the heliocentric model of solar system, which placed the sun at the center, contradicting the church geometric views that the earth was the center. This contradicted church teaching, which were based on the literal interpretation of Bible and geocentric model of Aristotle and Ptolemy. So basically, church used to believe what? They used to believe that that God created man. Okay, so this is a little bit funny, and it's a sentimental for them at the time. So they said God created man at first. Let's say man. He created man first before he, put him to sleep and then created Eve. So God created man, and when he created the man, he created the, Eve and animals and everything. So they thought that Earth was in center of the whole universe, and the sun evolved around the Earth. That's mean because God actually put men in charge. He put men in charge, and he chose because he loved the men so much. He loved us. We were the focus of the whole universe. That's why we were in the center, and everything in the universe evolved around, us human, and with the man being in charge. So that was like sentimental thing. They thought God, like we were so important for God to put us in the center of the universe, and everything else evolved around the earth. So Galileo came. Galileo lived in 1600. So in 1609, Galileo came with a theory that actually that is not true, that the sun and the universe evolve around the earth. He said, that the earth evolved around the sun. That was a big deal. He also said not only earth have moon, like among the planets, it's not only earth that have the moon. Jupiter have moon. That time, Galileo was one of few who kind of like work in a telescope and magnify made the telescope to see 30 times better than before. So he was able to see that there were moon evolving around Jupiter. So that was a really attack on the beliefs for Catholic Church. So those leaders or religious leaders did not like that, because this is literally like breaking all the beliefs. That means we're not as important as we used to think. That means God, did not put men in charge, and like man is the most important thing in the universe, and he's like on the lead and all that. So they then, decided to put Galilei in house arrest. And Galileo did a lot of other things, but then we're not going to go through because that have nothing to do with my topic. Also, another person that they put, not them, but in a history that was attacked based on his views that, contradict the beliefs of the leaders, was Socrates, or بالعربي بنقول له سقراط. Socrates was sentenced to drink poison, specifically Hamlag, because he was found guilty impiety and corrupting the use of Athene. The trial subsequently execution stemmed from accusation that introduced new gods and questioned the established religious belief, as well as far challenging the status quo and encouraging youth people to think critically. So his crime was because he was challenging the leader, the religious leaders, and he was like encouraging the youth to think critically, because he actually didn't think that those leaders were doing the right thing for the people. And he was talking stuff like, democracy and how to govern and all that kind of stuff. He was thinking rational, and he saw the scope of thinking of his country or the leaders at that time. It was so focused, it was so narrow that did not include everybody else. And then he was thinking that people should think differently. People should start seeing things not in that narrow scope. If people want to have like things like democracy and make everybody to move freely or practice whatever they want, people have to think critically, not the way that people used to think that way. So then the church leader or religious leaders, they did not like what Socrates was saying. The man was convicted by 500 men. He was, convicted, and he was, he was sent to death by poison. They forced him to drink poison in order so he can die. But he did have a choice anyway. They asked him whether to leave the country or he would be forced to drink poison because they didn't want him alive. Otherwise, because he was contradicting the doctrines of the church and turning the kids or the youth against the religious, the leaders. And those are two examples of how leaders always, leaders who do not think rationally, would always, try to take, put some, control you. They will try to control you. They will kill you. They will even kill you just because you do not think the way they want you to think, So, my conclusion, okay, before I conclude, I want to give another example. This topic actually would have been a lot longer if I wanted to. There was a book that I read long time ago. The book, I should have looked it up, but it's called Who Moved My Cheese, something like that. Either Who Moved My Cheese or something like that. But the book was talking about there is 4 types of people. And then now that I ran into this idea of there is bitter people. So bitter people are one type of people among other types. Bitter people always, they always are the reason why things are going bad, either for people around them. They're narcissistic. Okay, they think of themselves, more important than others. They would not think of themselves that they maybe have some mental issues. No, they would not. because their issues, their own soul, the soul issues for them always rely on others. Like bitter people, they would never be happy. You can give them the world and they will still not be happy. I want to give an example of what I heard Will Smith saying for, I think it was like a few years ago. Will Smith said what? He said, I used to think money would bring me happiness, or success would bring me happiness, or buying, this or that would bring me happiness. Having a lot of money would bring me happiness. But then he said at the end of the day, after he had it, he said, I have a beautiful wife. Well, I don't know if he said that, but he have a beautiful wife. He have kids. He's very successful. He have, he have money. He achieved almost a lot of things that he dreamt, or things that a lot of people could not, get. He said at the end of the day, all this stuff will not bring you happiness. The money will not bring you happiness. The beautiful wife will not bring you happiness. The cute kids or whatever, those will not bring you happiness. The success itself will not bring you happiness. Why? Because the happiness is within you. If you're not happy as a person, nothing in the world will bring you happiness. So that's why I think talking about bitter people is very important, because bitter people are not just bitter. The only time they will feel happy is when they see someone else miserable, and that's a huge difference. Bitter people never smile, never have a gratification or be grateful of something unless they see it like someone else struggling. He or she might feel a little bit happy if his neighbor was suffering. They can't find, like, they have a hard time, buying food for themselves. When he have or she have a lot of food in the refrigerator, then you're like, at least I have food in the refrigerator. And the thing is, not because he's grateful, but because someone else doesn't have it. Like, they always have to tie it with someone else's struggle. That's one. Second, the worst kind is not only he's happy because you do not have it, like the envy, like they don't want you to have that. Okay, they're envious. Okay, first they don't want you to have it, and if they can't control you not having it, they will do something to take it away from you. Okay, if they took it away from you and now you're struggling so much, then now he's happy. He or she will be happy. Okay, that's one. Second, bitter people are the reason in every country, literally, bitter people in every country are the one why people have tribal issues, why people will have regional issues, or corruption and all that. They're the reason why there is only few elites that want to enjoy the country while the rest of people are, suffering. So if you ask, like myself, I'd be like, why doesn't the president of the country have feelings? Like, why can't he feel the suffering of the people? Doesn't he pass by those streets, the same street that I pass, and I see a lot of kids suffering, and that's hurt? Doesn't he see this? But because there are people suffering, now there are other people happy, because the suffering of those people give them gratification, make them happy, it makes them happy. Okay, so I have a very small, another way to put it. Let's say you have like 10 to 20 people. You put those people in an island, okay? You gave everybody the same. You gave everybody the same stuff, all the necessities that they need to survive in that island, okay? So those people, let's say the bitter people within those 10 to 20 people will not be happy. They will not stand that everybody else have the same as they do. They will try to, they will try to mess other people up so they can lose their stuff. What is the word? They will try to sabotage other people's life so they can lose their stuff, so they will start suffering. And if they cannot do that, because let's say that island was specifically designed for no one to sabotage no one's life. You can only live there with your stuff. You cannot mess with other people's life. Let's say that island, you cannot mess with other people's life. Like you cannot sabotage, you cannot try to trick something into, fall into something so they can become miserable or hurt or something. Let's say that is no way for them to hurt other people. What will happen then at that time, those miserable people, those bitter people, they would not stand it, because there is something inside themselves that would eat them alive. That means what? They will close themselves in a room and then they will just suffer until they die, because they can't laugh, they can't feel, they have no reason to live. So bitter people, the only reason for them to live is to mess with other people's life, is to bring chaos within the community, is to, like, every morning they wake up, they want to go create something just to bring chaos within their community or the country. So those are the bitter people. So my conclusion is like, until here, my conclusion is, we as human, we need to, like, okay, there is a lot of politicians, right? There is a lot of politicians. There is differences between politicians. If you really want to know the bitter people, look at politicians. Even though all of them are politicians, I can admit that there is bitter people, bitter politicians, and then just politicians. Those other politicians, they can lie, yes. They can tell people, things that they want to hear, yes. Stuff like that. Their only differences between the bitter politician is that bitter politicians cannot be satisfied unless people start killing each other. Like those politicians, the bitter one, they would only create so much chaos. They will bring hate speech, okay? They will instigate war between us very close communities. And we've seen that happening right before our eyes. We've seen that happening in Clubhouse. Those are the bitter politicians. Because let's say if let's say if it was the not bitter politician, those not bitter politicians will be looking for solutions. Those solutions will work rationally for almost everybody in the country. Yes, they still lie, they still do stuff, they can sell you out, da 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 da. But their number one thing is not to conflict harm on other people. That is not their number one method. So the bitter politician compared to those rational politician, the rational politician wants solution that will work for almost a lot, people in the country. Rational politicians, if they have issues that they want to represent, they will have a solution and plan for it, so they can resolve those issues. But the bitter people, the number one reason they even came up with those issues is to bring conflicts and bring harm upon everybody else. Those are the bitter politicians. They will go around, create those issues, and they will have to make sure that those issues they will make it look and sound that those issues cannot be resolved unless there is a bloodshed. This is the difference between the bitter politician and then the rational politicians. The bitter politicians would tell you that those issues cannot be resolved unless there is a bloodshed. They will run around, try to start a fire over here, start a fire over there, create a lot of chaos just to confuse the citizen. So when they come back later to talk to those confused citizens, they would tell them the only way for us to resolve all this is for us to go kill a certain group. Those are the bitter politicians. Those issues that they tell you that have to end in a bloodshed, freaking do not have to end in a bloodshed. So any politician that speaks that way, you should know that that politician is a bitter person. And not only that, the bitter politician do control the other politicians. That means the decision made at the end of the day is not coming from the rational politician. It's made by the bitter politician. They're the one in control. Therefore, later on, when they become in power, they control everything. They control everything, and the same methodology of killing and harming other people will continue on. Another good example, I do not want to bring the name, but another good example of a bitter politician that killed people historically, and we know that person, all of us, she, killed a lot of South Sudanese. That person, if you take that person and put that person in power, they are not going to do anything that benefit people. The only thing they do best is creating chaos, confuse people, and make sure everything ends in a bloodshed. Those are the bitter politicians. They're never happy. You put them in power, they would do nothing. They would do freaking nothing. They will just sit there. If they do not have power to confuse people, if they do not have power to make people kill each other, if they do not have power to do bad things, they will just sit like a guest. They will just sit as a guest and doing absolutely nothing, because the only thing they do is creating chaos, bringing bloodshed to people around them. Those are the freaking bitter people, and we have a bunch of them in South Sudan, and they're the one in control. They're the one in control. The rest of politicians, the rational politicians, do listen to them, because at the end of the day, they are politicians. They want their own benefit as number one thing. So that's the subject that I came to you today. I thought myself I have to talk about it because I spoke about it here 3 days ago. Like you know, during the daytime, the nighttime. Then I saw, you know, the same topic was being discussed by people. And like I said, those people do hear me in my own house. There is nothing I say in this house that they do not hear. Right now I have zero audience. Why? Is because of those people. Like I said, I posted something in YouTube, and I did not change the setting. I posted before, and it's always public views, like, you know, public is visible for the public. And then I posted yesterday, and then I check around and I could not see it, you know, in other account. I could not see that I posted something. I'm like, what the frick is wrong? Even though I saw like there was like 2 views. That's mean, you know, just to trick me, like, you know, this thing is, you know, it's public. So I went back, you know, to look, see what is the visibility of my post. I found that the visibility was only me that's seeing the post. That means if I posted my own account in YouTube, no freaking body will see it. Nobody's gonna see it, only me. That's how bad those people don't want anybody to see my stuff. And always those people are in my account. Those people are always in my account in Facebook right here. Like, they're in my account day and night. And I come to realize that anytime I post or come to live like this, my post and live does not reach people. They selected only few people to see my post, and not everybody. This is how they want to control my life, and they don't want me to be heard. But I'm gonna say this is a lie. I'm gonna go around هنفجخها معاكم فجيخ. فاهمين? Yes. So أنا هجيب هنا. أنا هجي second time for another live that is not the same title. Alright. بنقول لكم سلام. سما الجاء جاء والما جاء لكيفه. Okay? I know that this would make them happy, but احنا ما هنجيب على كده. ما هنجيب على كده. Alright. Also, before I go, a lot of people have they do live. Their videos are not deleted after 30 days. Only mine are deleted right after 30 days. That's one. Second, Facebook took my 400 something followers away, saying that if I do not, you know, become like a content creator, then I do not deserve to have followers. They took followers away, unless if I want to become a content creator. At the same time, when I look at other people's account, people that have account closed, they have followers. They do freaking have followers. People that have their account like just friends, not even a public, they have followers. So those people, the opposition, they literally have an okay from Facebook to control my account, take my followers away, and not only that, my own friends on Facebook do not see the things that I do or all of my posting, which is a hassle. But احنا ما هنسكن إن شاء الله تجردوها زي شنو احنا لسه we will pop up here and pop up there. You guys are not freaking gonna stop me. Chakping.